Hey guys, today's Friday, May the 5th of 2023, and I want to go over the energy, metals, and the US dollar. So without any further delay, let's get into it. Look at crude oil on the daily chart, finding support right here. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gets a nice little bump up to retrace and regain this level right here of 72.38, and then maybe see what happens if it's going to stall there and then maybe do another leg lower or grind higher and kind of get to the midpoint and maybe retest this high up here. But so far, the daily's holding up pretty well, and you're in a squeeze play, but we don't know which direction it wants to go. On our Bob, we just entered a squeeze play on the weekly chart, and very oversold, very overextended. Looks like it's finding support right here at that 230 area around there. So it looks like, nothing promising, nothing, like it wants to go up. Nothing's changed. The Hekanashis are still negative. Mobile bands are negative. Trend is negative. So you got to wait for some signs of life, either histogram or something on the daily. But so far, there's some bottom feeders showing up. NG, as you can see, we got our PPS buy signal, and it pulled back really hard. And it almost cracked the mobile band, but it's still hovering in there within the, where I call the ratio of noise or chop. So once we break about above here or below there, that's going to indicate, where it wants to go. I'm leaning that it wants to go higher. And there's a squeeze play on the daily, and so far the pressure as of now is to the downside, but holding in this range. So far, let's see how that's going to play out for next week. Heating oil, getting some signs of life right here. You get the yellow histogram, and this Hekanashi is turning positive, so that's good. It's not like our Bob on the daily or crude oil, but so far is showing some signs of life. I wouldn't buy it unless it gets down to maybe 189 around there. Do hopefully a fail new low, consolidate, and then maybe go up. But that's me. Let's go to the metals because I'm going to cover gold. As you can see, we popped our head out 285 and then pulled back. I think the high was 287. And you can see it on the, this is the 4 hour. Yep, it's kind of choppy. As long as we can stay above 238, we're, pretty good. But there's a little weakness, but it looks like it may want to test this 238 again. Silver, same thing, kind of stuck its head out and kind of, came back in. You can see it on the 4 hour. A little weakness right here. So maybe it may dip in a little bit. Hopefully it holds 25.97. And this one is already cracking the mobile band. So you can see that it's already negative. So silver is a little stronger than gold as of now, US pre-market. Copper, 408, 407 line in the sand. We're kind of below it, so it's kind of holding this level of 381. And on the 4 hour, you can see that it's consolidating between this range of 382 and 390. Once either breaks below or above it, I think it'll probably test this $4 if it could get up there. And if it's going to go any lower, I don't see anything lower as of now, but I have to look at the weekly chart. And palladium, it's getting some signs of life over here. As you can see, it was choppy on the 4 hour, and now it's getting positive. So if the dollar's going to tank and the metals are going to push even higher, this could be a good little swing trade to the upside to test this high. Since it's getting a little, it's back into the consolidation range. As long as it could break above, 1531. But, if you want to do a little scalp, it could probably test that level again. And then see what happens. But so far, nice little retrace, opportunity to get in, to go long. But, I'm cautious because I'm watching this dollar. This dollar is kind of eerie. It's like playing that eerie game where it's kind of spooky. It's not really doing nothing. And that's when I kind of feel when it like does something, it like catches everybody off guard, but I'm like watching it like a hawk. Platinum, look at that. Nice little retrace. This is the 4 hours. You can see sidestepping lower highs, lower low. Now it's kind of stalling at 1042. Once I see something positive on the daily, then I consider something, maybe position to go long. But so far, platinum is looking good compared to everybody else. Let's go to the dollar. This is what everybody should be watching, especially if you're in gold. Look at this. Fail new low. And we started consolidating from the 13th of this month. Just kind of back and forth, back and forth. This looked promising. I thought we were going to break out, but we didn't. We pulled back, and we're still hovering around here. And we still holding this key level down here, as you can see. Failed new low. It hasn't really taken it out. So what does that mean? Somebody's buying it and holding it to maybe squeeze it up, which will bring pressure to the metals. So if you're long gold, you should be keeping an eye on this dollar. Once it takes out 178 and it pushes lower, you can sleep better at night. But once it hasn't done that yet, you got to monitor that, because it could be hovering here. Slowly, the big boys building position, just buying it, buying it. And once they got their whatever volume or whatever position they want to have, they'll probably head fake it, then squeeze it up, shoot it up, and they'll control it, because they'll control the metals and put pressure on everybody, especially the metal sector. So this is their trigger. You want to keep an eye on this. And I'm not saying it's going to play out exactly like the way I'm saying. I have a target of 98, which is all the way down here. And if it goes down there, that's when I'm going to be building a position and looking at the metals, how extended they are, and maybe start shorting some of them. But that hasn't happened yet, so I'm on standby. I'm on the sidelines on that. I just want to give you my thoughts. And if it pops up, obviously there's going to be targets, so, 105. And if it closes above that, it's obviously going to go hunt, 114. It wants to go all the way up there and test that. And if it fails, then, that's another story. But if it pushes higher, watch out. Let's go look at the metals. You can see gold. I want to focus on gold. Very extended on the monthly. So this is the same thing as natural gas. Natural gas hit the lower extensions here. We're kind of hovering around here. Same thing with the metal. So you have to be cautious. Can't be greedy, because you're very overextended linear regression channel. So this is where you probably want to lock in profits. But if you want to get super greedy, then you think it's going to go higher, then ride the wave. But here, smart money, smart people that are not kind of greedy, they kind of, I got a nice run from up here. Let me lock it in. I don't think it's always going to go to the moon like, the Bitcoin crew. Let me lock in some profits and maybe buy something that's cheap, like natural gas, or, something else that's like very overextended, that's sold off really low, and dip my toes in it. But that's, my opinion. So be careful here. But so far, everything is looking good. Linear regression is pointing up. You're above the cloud on the midterm time frame, so that's good. MACD is looking good. Market sentiment is all pointing up. So yeah, so this market sentiment tells you, okay, we're all leaning on one side of the boat. Think of Jesus and the fishes and all that stuff. They're all on one side of the boat, and you're thinking about, man, this boat is heavy. Let me go to this other side. And that's where, you make most of your money. Where everybody's one side, you unload. When everybody goes down, and everybody's on this side, I mean, if you're shorting it, then you release, unload, get out of those positions, and, you just go back and forth. But so far, everything is looking good. Linear regression's channel pointing up above, the majority of the SMAs, simple moving averages. Everything's looking good there. Let's look at this the chart right here, market profile. You can see value area high is 289 on a 5-year. So very toppy. There's nothing really else above it. I went all the way to max, and this is pretty much, double top, triple. Looks like maybe once, let's say three knocks and it'll go through. So maybe this is, maybe one more, or this is it where, it just pushes higher. So we'll see. Just trail your stop. On the 3 months, this is the value area high. Point of control is at 204. So if it pulls back down, this should probably, be good support, even dip below it. But that's the point of control right there. And let's zoom out over here and look at this chart right here. Flexible. As you can see, this is the big picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is a yearly chart. So could 5 come up even higher? I think it is. Maybe with all this stuff going on in the planet and, the finances, everything. But you can see that right here, there's just 3 tops. Every time we hit it, we pull back down. And maybe this time, maybe it breaks through. So I think maybe that's why people are watching gold, to see if they could just, push higher through there. Last chart I wanted to show you is the levels to keep an eye on. You're below the 50, which is 2062. So if you get above that, it's going to be at good support, but this is a daily support. Right now is resistance. So I would go along if it gets above 2062 for targets of 285, 2097, all the way to 2108. You're very overextended on the weekly. You overextended this, so this is probably going to be support. And you got 2035 coming in for next week. As long as 2035 holds, you're still in the game to continue pushing higher. Next week's range would be 2110, 2085. Obviously, you're going to test that high all the way to 2135. If it gets to 2135, I will definitely lock in profit to your swing trading. And on the monthly, you can see that 2014 is the 50%. So if it goes down there, that'll be support. And on the yearly, you're above the 50%, which is at 1848. So if it's really going to get Momo, 2193 all the way to 2309. Very overextended, but possible targets to the upside, meaning that the dollar will probably tank all the way to 98 or maybe even lower. Well, I'm going to sign out. Hopefully you like this video. I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on the dollar, on the metals, and in the energy sector.